Got a 2002 Honda Odyssey 3.5 liter V6 that is in need of a new alternator. So this video is designed to describe that process. Before we get started, I want to say I'm a pastor and a Christian, and there's a lot more important things in life than just vans and alternators. So if you get a chance, cruise over to my other videos, especially the one on how to become a Christian. With that said, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is disconnect the negative battery cable. In this case, the battery's out because we drove it home and drained the battery dry. Nonetheless, disconnect the negative battery cable, and we're also going to chock the back wheel and remove the left front wheel to gain some access to that side of the engine. So let's do that first. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is remove this plastic shroud that goes around the wheel well. It goes all the way back here. We just need to gain access to some of the components underneath. And so they're held on by a variety of fasteners that include little plastic clips and a few screws. Pretty straightforward. Just take those off. Okay, the next step is 19mm wrench to the belt tensioning device here. You'll see I've got it on that bolt. It looks like a bolt. It's actually not, but it's designed to do this. If you pull down on the wrench, it loosens the tension on the belt. You can slip it off of the crank here, and of course it'll slip off of the alternator as well. So got to take care of that now. Alright, one tip here. If you link together a couple of wrenches like this, it makes that whole process a lot easier. So got the belt off, going to be working from the top side from this point forward. Okay, going to remove a couple of things to get some access and room to remove the alternator. I'm going to remove the engine cover, just 4 bolts. You may not have to, but this little plastic piece is kind of in the way. Then also there's a bracket down in here for the power steering reservoir. I'm going to remove that bracket. Might need to remove this, haven't decided yet. Take a look in just a second. Okay, under the engine cover, plastic piece remains. Just a couple of flathead fasteners. Loosen each of those, and this remaining plastic piece should come right off. A couple of bolts to remove to get the alternator off. On the top here, a 12mm. Down where this wrench is, 14mm. Pretty aggravating to get to, not much room to work, but loosen those up, and that should mechanically disconnect the alternator from its bracket. On the back side of the alternator, now that it's free, a couple electrical connectors there. They have rubber boots. You just peel back the rubber boots and using a socket loosen those up, and then the alternator is detached from the car and can be woven up through the other components and pulled out. I'll show you the alternator out in just a moment. Getting that alternator out was a little frustrating. A couple things I did. I removed the coolant overflow bottle that goes here. It pulls straight up, and that gave me a little extra room. This off the bracket is pretty flexible, but the main thing that had to happen was the pulley down at the bottom, that tensioner that we looked at earlier, had to be opened up, and I'm working by myself, so I just had to kind of pry it open, and then just a lot of turning and patience to get the alternator to squeeze through underneath the AC line, electrical lines, and this power steering reservoir. So it's out. Here's what it looks like, and I'll need to go get this one serviced, repaired, or replaced. And installation should be exactly the opposite. If you've made it this far, you won't have a problem getting it back together. Just want to remind you, I'm a pastor and a Christian. A lot more important things in life than vans and alternators. And so if you get a chance, once you get your van on the road, cruise over to my other videos. Check out that one on how to become a Christian. That's the most important. Take care and God bless.